All right, welcome back, everybody, to another week of the Sports 2.0 show, specifically the golf show. Grant and I are back. Last week wasn't our best. It wasn't our worst, certainly. I had Trey Molinax as my penny stock pick, grab a top five, so that's never bad.
Yeah, his
We
odds
both
were
hit our
good.
matchups. Yeah, his odds were really good. You're going to see his name probably a little bit later on here tonight as well. Um, both hit our matchups. It was nice to see a couple guys play decently well. Matt Wolf was on our card. He made a little bit of a run, but ultimately wasn't enough. You know, Sam Burns. If Sam Burns shows up to a tournament like that and brings his A game, he's going to be pretty tough to beat. And the
Right.
leaderboard was full of random people.
Yeah, a bunch of Corn Ferry Tour guys.
Yeah,
Or I shouldn't say that. Corn Ferry graduates. There now, most of them are actually card holders.
PGA
So,
Tour guys. Yeah,
right. So they are PGA Tour players, but it was fun. I mean, seeing some of the new guys out there. Like we said, thank God we picked Molnax because he kind of saved my week with those high odds. And then the margins, baby, the margins are back. We finally hit one after a while, and we're looking to do that again this week. Burns win, like you said. I mean, he's his talent level is really high, and
yeah,
he puts well and ball strikes like he did in a field like that. He's gonna win a lot of the time. His numbers were so bad though, which you can't bet Sam Burns at 16. That's crazy. So
no, yeah,
it sucks because we've actually won some money on him in the past at numbers prior to him being like as good as supposedly as good as he is now.
yeah.
So maybe he'll have a year this year where we start to think of him as more one of those top young guys.
Yeah, he always had the talent, and if you looked at his stats, it was like, man, Sam Burns should really be, tearing it up. Now he had a ton of top 20s last year. He had a really good
Yeah.
year. His thing has always been putting like four really good rounds together. He has the tendency to just go like nuclear in the wrong way. Like he'll just shoot 80 on Friday for no reason. Like
Right.
I sometimes he gets spraying it with the driver, but he seems to have overcome that to a certain degree. Maybe it's a course management thing. Maybe it's just something that maybe he's got a couple shots now that he knows he can hit when it gets kind of wonky. Whatever it is, he's figured it out. He put together a ton of good finishes last year. Now he's got two wins all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think it's when you hit that Saturday Sunday stretch, it's starting to figure out what you have and what you don't have. I think he's gotten very comfortable as far as like what he can do
Definitely.
on the golf course, and so when he gets in those situations where it's like, hey, this is make or break time, like you're either going to contend or you're not going to contend, he has those things that he can rely on, and it's clearly shown. With two wins so close together, that's huge for a guy his age, and with his power, he can compete even on big courses.
Yeah, he's got all the game in the world. Well, the one thing that I love about Burns is like he's a fantastic ball striker, but he's also a really good putter. Now we
Yeah,
didn't see that last week. He was like the first guy in a long time to lose strokes putting and win. And it was like him and JT in the last 5 years
yeah.
because his tee to green game was like super elite. Like not nobody was even in the same realm as him last week. So you're good when you do that. When you shoot 23, 22 or 23 under and you lose strokes putting, like you're striping it.
Yeah, and he just decided to miss the green on 18 for some reason. He hit it
Hit
in
in
the
the bunker.
bunker and then got it out of the bunker to like a decent shot. I think it was like 8 foot or whatever they measured it at,
Yeah.
and then missed it. Took us out of our big money with the two-stroke win, but we had the one stroke, which is great. I'm going to be fighting for those margins all fall, so I'm excited for that. Who do you want to start off with for this week in your outrights?
Yeah. This tournament, TPC Summerlin Shriners Hospital for Children's Open. It's kind of a long name. It's in Vegas. TPC Summerlin's hosted it for quite a while. This was the Patrick Cantlay Invitational. He's played super well here. I think Bryson's played well. It's kind of interesting. The field is better this week. There's some guys. Brooks is here. Victor Hovland's here. A bunch of top 30 players in the world showed up. But no Cantlay or Bryson. I kind of thought, they've played so well here that this kind of makes sense for them. But um, it's a course where you don't need to be long, but if you can be long and straight, um, it's really helpful. Like I read an interview that Kevin Na did. He's won this twice about how he thinks like it takes to play this course, and he's like, it's a positional course in the sense that like if you get out of position off the tee, you're probably not making bogey, but you're probably not making a birdie because it's hard to hold these greens that get pretty firm and have a lot of runoffs. It's one of the harder up and down scrambling courses as well. So his thing was like, to win this, you have to make a ton of birdies. So putting yourself in the fairway consistently or in the right spot consistently, like gives you the best chance to make 25, 30 birdies, or whatever it's going to take to win. Because 23 under has won this, I think, the last 2 years. I was on Matt Wolf last year, and he got beat by Martin frickin' Laird in a playoff. So we've seen some weird winners at this course. Not really necessarily first-time winners, but guys who, pop up pretty randomly. But this field is pretty good, and I'm going with somebody right off the top that's a really good player in Abe Answer. He just fits exactly what I'm looking for here. Super elite ball striker, tee to green guy, but he also brings, good putting. He's 8th in strokes gained putting over the last 50 rounds, top 10 and off the tee and approach. He just got his first win, a big WGC win a couple months ago in Memphis. He just fits exactly what I'm looking for. He's a pretty good wedge player, not the best wedge player. There's quite a few wedges on this course, but I think that, in general, he's just a very good approach player. Top 25 in opportunities and birdies or better gain. Those are kind of good indicators that I look at in terms for guys in these birdie fest style of events where you just got to go super low. And the iron play putting combo that he has is unique-ish in this field. There's not a lot of guys that bring that to the table in this field. Maybe a guy like Kokrak. I'm looking at my sheet here. Kokrak and Tringali are both top 30 in both, but Answer's top 10 in both. He kind of stands out for me. And 23-1 is not a bad number for him.
Yeah, I like Gabe. He fits exactly what you said earlier as far as hit it far, but also hit it straight. He's not hitting it far, 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 but he's hitting it far enough where he's up there in the above average, and he's also hitting it straight. So he fits that bill perfectly. Just like you said, mixing those irons. Proven winner. He had a huge, huge win with that WGC last year. Yeah. He's looking to have another. He had a really good last year. I think he could even get better with his skill, especially if he could get 1 or 2 wins this year.
Yeah, it's good to see him get over the hump. I think he was one of those guys that was we bet all the time at 40, 50, 61. Yeah. I was is he ever going to get over the hump? And he finally did, and that was good to see. Now I don't have any, I don't really consider him not a winner anymore. I think he's a guy that I don't have any problem betting an outright market.
Yeah, I like his numbers. This field is this field was weird with the numbers because it was a good field, but it wasn't at the same time. It was compared to what we're seeing, what we're going to expect. But when you look at the names, you're well, these guys aren't it's not that loaded.
No, it's not. So, there's a few. There's the top is not here.
Right. So that's why I kind of found a lot of more value when we got into that 30 plus range, which we were dipped right below it, which I think is great. But finding these guys who have a really good chance of winning behind that, because I don't think that top half is super loaded, like we said. Right. I saw Victor Hovland was the favorite on one of the big books. So that's
him and Brooks were both 18. Yeah, I think Answer was even 18 on a couple books.
I love Vic. I'm all in on Vic's success, but come on, him as a favorite, that's not.
Yeah,
that's not the greatest field ever. But I'm going to jump over to Sung Jae at 33. So I have Sung Jae at 33. He got his win last year, 2 top 15s in this event that he's had in the past. He's made 10 straight cuts with a bunch of top 20s in there, so his form is doing just fine. His ball striking has been great. He was second in my model and first in greens and regulation, which greens are going to be pretty important here, especially if you want to make that many birdies. The putter has been failing him. I'm betting on the spike. I'm betting on Sung Jae, the talent to kind of roll through here. And I like guys in this range. Like I said, I think they have a pretty good chance of winning because I don't think they're getting really pushed out by the top class. Sung Jae is a guy who I think is going to have a big year. I'm not sure if it's going to be this year or next year, even the year after that. But I think his success is coming. And I think an event like this where it is pretty good but yet not super loaded is something that he could contend in. And I like the 33 number compared to the guys above him.
Yeah, I love Sung Jae. I thought he was going to have a breakout year last year, and he just kind of didn't have it. He lost his ball striking form for a while at the beginning of the year. When then he got it back, he wasn't putting that good. I'm concerned about Sung Jae when we get off of Bermuda. He just seems to not quite have the same putting ceiling. But
Right.
when you're in an event like this, you're just looking for the guys that have enough like putting ceiling to go with pretty consistent or elite ball striking. And Sungjae has elite ball striking when he's on, and he has shown like super, super elite putting. Like he's not a bad putter that you're just hoping to hit a spike. He's a pretty good putter that
Yeah.
you're just looking for one of his better weeks. So I have no problem with him. I think that's a pretty fair number considering the field. And he's played a lot better recently. The last 6 weeks or 6 tournaments or so, he's been quite a bit better than he was the middle of last year.
Yeah, I really focus on guys on ball strikers this week because I think just looking at the leaderboards of past events, guys like
it's a
Wolf,
lot of approach play.
yeah, Wolf, Abe, Zalatoris, Cantlay, Bryson. Then we have to mix in some Vegas guys, right? These desert players, Pat Perez, Scott Piercy, Ricky. Ricky was on these little leaderboards. He's in the field this week. He's got a pretty high number on him. I think you can get him at 100 or maybe 80 some places.
Yeah.
So I just think that talent's going to kind of pull some guys up towards the top this week by just putting themselves in position. And I'll take the 33-1 odds that somehow Sungjae's putter gets really, really hot on bent grass and he gets a win.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. My second guy, I'm going to go a slightly different route. Patrick Reed at 40.
You have to bet this.
This is my thing. Like if the book drops a Patrick Reed number at 40 or above in any tournament, you just bet it. The dude wins. He's got 9 or 10 wins on tour. He wins big events, and this field isn't that good. So hanging a 40 on him, it's kind of I don't get it. Plus, he's probably a bit miffed that he didn't get on that Ryder Cup team. He's probably out to prove a point. I would say he is the best bent grass putter like in a long, long time. He's a super, super bent grass putter, really good short game, and his irons kind of come and go. But if he pairs up good iron play with elite putting, he's going to win because his putting is that good. I mean, we saw him win at Torrey last spring, basically with shit iron play. He just chipped and putted his balls off. That course is a lot different, but like that's how elite his short game is. He can win tournaments purely on his putter.
Yes.
And this is one of those tournaments where if he gets it going on with the putter, like he's really, really good. He's gonna be really hard to beat. And I just like that he has a little extra motivation. Patrick Reed's one of those guys that when he gets he does better the more like things don't go his way. Like he seems to persevere pretty well. He's controversial type of guy. I don't think a lot of people like him, but I love to bet on him because books they will just keep hanging 35s, 40s on him all the time, and the dude just wins.
Yeah, this is an auto bet of all auto bets. Like you have to, if there's a 4 right there, you have to bet him. You have to,
particularly in a field as average as this.
I'm not saying he's going to win. I don't know if he will or not. But if he's at 40, you have to bet him. He's way too good to be at 40. I'm going to pair this prop. He's not one of my top 10s or 20s, but I'm probably going to pair this with a top 10 and top 20 just for insurance because I like those numbers too. If you're going to push him down the field and price him with those guys, I'm going to take the value, and I like that motivation, like you said, in the back of his head. Like, man, because and he knows if he was on that Ryder Cup team, they still would have won. Like he knows that they would have crushed it the same exact way. He knows that had nothing to do with him not being on the team, and he wants to come in and prove it. He wants to have a big year. I think this is a great spot for a 40 number.
Yeah, I kind of couldn't believe it, especially when I saw I have the book pulled up here. I opened the book and it's like Brooks and Abe at 16 and 18 and Webb at 18. And I'm like, Reed's going to be 24. And I kept scrolling and I'm like, fucking Cameron Tringali is 35. Get the fuck out of here. Cameron Tringali has 0 wins. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, that might be the worst price in the history of golf betting. You have Cam Tringali $5 cheaper than Patrick Reed? Come on. That's terrible.
This was on my card immediately. I knew one of us would have it, so I was like, I'm betting this either way, so it doesn't matter. Well, it'll come up.
Come on, that's so stupid. Well, that's disrespectful.
It is.
I think we should tweet this at Patrick Reed and be like, they books think Cam Tringali has a better odds to win than you do.
His wife will probably favorite it. I'm sure she will.
100%. Yeah. Use golf stats or whatever that Twitter handle is.
I'm going to follow your 40 with another 40, and that's with Neiman. I got 40 on Neiman. I think he was pretty pretty even across the board as far as his number. I didn't really see much variation. He was kind of set here at 40. Two top 5 teams out of 3 tries at this course. His off the tee has been amazing, like amazing as of recently, which I really like with him, because if he keeps that up, he's gonna give himself the confidence right off the tee from the get-go to really start hunting flags down, and he can do that when he gets hot. His irons have been good. I mean, obviously it's hard to be as good as he was off the tee, but his irons have been steady too. Bent is the only surface that he gains on putting, the only one. So I think maybe that confidence will kind of roll into the start of this event. He's a proven winner. He has that one event. He's made 8 cuts in a row. I like the number at 40. This is a very similar play. I mean, he doesn't have the winning pedigree of Patrick Reed, certainly not, but he has that upper end talent. And at a 40 number, I like that than dipping down, by 20 or even below 20 with these other guys like Webb, like you said, like that. I would rather take a 40 on Neiman than something like that.
Yeah, and he's the type of guy that, like, he's probably gonna win some events like this. He should have won a couple times last year. His game is really strong. He just kind of hasn't figured out how to close all these events, and he's the type of guy who can go super low too. Like, he can get going, and you're going to have to do that to win this tournament. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing pretty solid, so I like him coming in and a good number. The other outright I have listed is not going to be on the card is Adam Scott at 55.
I pulled up my model. I ran it, and I'm like, what the hell is Adam Scott doing in the vicinity of the top of my model? And then I start looking at it, I'm like, all right, he's showing some form.
Yeah, I like that number 2 at 55. I think he has that upside potential. You try to hit the spikes with these guys, right? And especially in this range, you don't care if they get last, right, or second. It literally doesn't matter. But Adam Scott has the skill with those iron play and the way he can strike the ball to win the event. And at 55,
100%.
I would bet on it. Adam Scott cares about big events that matter. This event is going to be pretty big. It's going to have bigger guys in the field. He's going to care about something like this. If he can get started off on a good first few days, I think he'll really have a chance to contend at the end. I like that 55.
I think Adam Scott is the UNLV too, a guy, right? Too, isn't he? Isn't he a Vegas guy?
I don't know. I can check right now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played at UNLV, at least for a little bit. Yeah, he did. So I mean, he's got the Vegas experience. Yeah, I mean, Adam Scott's just one of those guys. He wins a decent amount too. When he shows up in good form, he's the type of guy that you should maybe bet. Top
short
10s this. Yeah, really good wedge player, and his putting has been a little bit better than it used to be. Top 10s, we're both in the picking in the same ballpark here in terms of numbers. I am going with Scotty Scheffler plus 275. I am going to ride hopefully a wave from the Ryder Cup with Scotty. I think he's going to bring in a lot of confidence from his play and kind of putting it to John Rahm on that Sunday. I think this course sets up really well for him. He's one of the longer players who also hits it straight. Like, he finds quite a few fairways for how far he hits it. He's a smart player, and he's the type of guy who can get on a really good run. We saw him shoot 59 at the Northern Trust 2 years ago. He's top 10 in birdies or better gained over the last 50 rounds. His putting is up and down, but his peaks are plenty good enough to win a tournament like this. And he's still looking for his first win. He's got super motivation, and I think he's kind of riding high from his play at the Ryder Cup, and that's kind of what I'm going to ride here. Yeah,
this is a good bet. And I think we're going to see a lot of Scotty Scheffler on our outright cards here in the coming future because his win is coming. We've talked about it, and it's definitely coming with the skill level that he has. I like it, and I honestly don't have much to say other than that for my guy too with Zalatoris. Same exact number, very similar stuff. If you just take out the Ryder Cup stuff, he played good last week. He's a ball striking machine. He can really unleash here with some of the rough being cut down in the fairways, being out there to really have the ability to hit it really far. Everything is going to rest on his putter. I'm okay with that. If his putter is just neutral or a little bit better, he's going to be up there. And if he plays well on Sunday, we're going to win this bet. Top 10 at 275. He got a fifth year last year, or fifth at this course last year, which is good on his confidence. I like the number with his talent level at 275 because I think with his upside, he could easily be priced up there with some of the guys at the 125s.
Yeah, he's playing some good golf. Nobody loves Zalatoris more than I do. I I wish he's one of the smarter guys out there. He's talked a lot about the decade method of like how you get yourself around the course. I think he's got to put some of that into his putting and just figure out what the hell is going wrong because
Right.
he's not a good putter. He's not even close. If he could just get it to like average putting, he already finishes in the top 20, like 60% of his tournaments. If he could just have some more average putting days that are not terrible, like the dude's going to dominate. He's just so good to the green. He falls right in that Scotty Scheffler category of the guys who hit it far but also very straight.
Yeah.
He's kind of that new age player who can do both, and his freaking irons are so good. I mean, he's just him. It's like him, JT and Morikawa are like the three best guys in my opinion with an iron in their hand. So that he just got to figure that putter out. I don't know that he's going to win a birdie fest because of it. I kind of think
Right.
his first win's going to come at like a Torrey or somewhere where the course plays a little bit more difficult. Maybe Bay Hill, somewhere like that, where it's not so much dependent on his putter making a shitload of putts. But I like the top 10 because he's going to give himself 50 good birdie looks in the next 4 days.
Right. And I kind of go back to what you said about being in the rough where you can still make par. Is that if he just kind of makes par on those holes, but then gives himself, a million opportunities to make birdie, right? I don't need him to make all of them. I just need him to make a handful of them every day. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can have some confidence. I like the fifth year last year. I think that's something that's good for young kids like him. I got a question for you. Do you think he'd ever change his putter or no? Like change out of that big one?
I think he would at some point. I think that he's probably in that because he sucked even worse with the
Right.
traditional putter. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't know. I haven't studied how tour pros go about changing or improving their putting. But he needs to consider it, and I think he's probably trying. Obviously, I mean, we've seen him have people talk about how he got some putting lessons, and then bam, he putts really well for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden it's bad again. So he's a bad long range putter. He's a bad short range putter. He's not as bad as he's better than. Sorry, JT is better putter than he is. But if he could get to JT's level of hot coldness putting, he would win tournaments. He would win multiple tournaments because his ball striking is that good.
Right. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does. I don't really know what he's being. Obviously, he has coaches and stuff that help him do this stuff. Maybe he could be probably trying things right behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to see how it goes because you can't waste being that talented and not getting wins because he's way up there in ball striking.
100%. Top 20s, I think there's quite a bit of value all over the board here this week. I am going back to the well with Mito Pereira. He's just playing super good golf. Bent's his best putting surface. 31st last week, he putted like shit. He lost almost 5 strokes putting. But third the week before that, sixth and fifth 2 of the 3 weeks before that. He gained 5.6 on approach last week. He's super off the tee. He's been gaining like crazy every week off the tee, and his iron play is really good. We just need kind of a baseline putting. He got his early promotion from wins on the Corn Ferry, and he has showed up. He was on a Zalatoris type, little run here. Obviously, these tournaments that he's competing in aren't crazy good, but he's finishing in the top 10 and really putting up some good stats. So I'm just going to keep riding him on a course that makes some sense for him.
Yeah, I love Mito here. He's a guy where I think he's really good. Just by watching him, you can tell he's really good. Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting to see, kind of how he starts to, come into himself. Because if he does keep this up, his numbers are going to severely drop.
He's probably going to win, I would guess, at some point here shortly. If he's as good as he's shown so far, those guys usually get a win pretty quick. So maybe it's this week. There's some decent numbers out there on him too, at 60-1.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see him at the end of a day on Sunday. A time where it's wait, what? Who's going to win the tournament? Those are all the best times to learn about guys. And then the good part is that you see guys get over the hump, kind of like Sam Burns did, where you saw him a couple times, and then all of a sudden now it's like, wait, he kind of like might have figured it out. So
Yeah,
it's good. He could be a guy like that here in the next few months, or even coming into 2022. I'm gonna go with Russell Henley at a plus 300, 3-1 on his top 20. I really like it. This is a pretty easy play for me, just based on my model. He was ranked third over the last 36 rounds. His approach numbers are great. His ball striking is great. Par 4, 400 to 450, which is a lot of these holes here on this course based on the short irons. If you can just hit it out there in the fairway, he was second to my model, which is great. His proximity from these with these lowers, he was 8th and 12th, so he's right there hovering around that top 10 place. I just need a neutral putter from him. That's all I need, and I think it could happen. He's had 4 good finishes out of 6 starts that he's had here in this event. I really like Henley on the 3-1 because when he spikes and when you give himself some opportunities, I think he'll be fine. I expect him to play pretty well this week.
Yeah, he's going to come up on the wrong side of a matchup for me here in a little bit, but Henley's ball striking is certainly it's on the top half of guys in the tour. So I think I have him 8th in approach over the last 36. Like that's really good. So, and his proximity numbers with wedges are excellent. So, but I'll make my case here in a bit when we get to some matchups. Why don't you take your matchup first here?
I struggled to find a matchup this week. The
Same.
numbers
There was a ton out there, but I searched all the books, but
a bunch of like minus 114s that I'm just not interested in.
Right.
In a lot of these matchups, but I kind of settled on Glover over Streelman plus 115. Glover has been pretty good ball striking, getting on approach on 5 of his last 7 events and a win in July. So he had a win not too long ago. His putter is really what fails him, and he's had 3 top 10s here with a neutral or better putter. So I think that if that trend continues where he's either neutral or better, and he keeps his ball striking up like he has been lately, I think this is a pretty good bet. Bent is his best worst surface, right? Put a tally on the chalkboard for the amount of times that I'll bring that up on this show, but here it is again. So I guess it's his best opportunity to maybe be neutral, right? That's kind of what you hope for. So I think if those 3 things come together, which they kind of are seeming to be, I like the plus 115 over Streelman. Streelman does have a little bit of a course fit here as far as like he can kind of put himself in position and use those wedges to kind of get in there, but he hasn't been in like crazy good form. He's been playing okay, but nothing crazy. I think the plus 115 on the guys who I think should be, damn near even. So I like the number.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I'm going to take Brian Harman over Russell Henley. This is not necessarily my traditional approach, but I think Harman, he has shown that this course is a really good fit for him. He's got 3 straight top 20s at this course, gaining over 4 strokes putting in all 3 times. And Brian Harman makes all of his money with the flat stick. He hasn't been playing the best of golf, but he did have a pretty good run. And then during the summer where he got it going with the putter and the irons, I just think that the course fit for him is good. He's a good bent grass putter, and Henley's a terrible bent grass putter. He's not a very good putter anyways. He's not been good on bent. I just think Brian Harman, he's proved it at this course that his floor is pretty good. And Henley can be a bit up and down. Obviously, his ball striking is really good, but his putting can go the wrong way.
Sometimes we have these things where we don't bet against each other, but we have different things, and we say like, oh, maybe we can win the matchup, but also get the top 20. This is not one of these weeks. This is not going to happen where we both win these bets. Where you beat me and Henley also finishes in the top 20. That just seems That just seems kind of crazy. But it makes sense. I don't mind it.
I'm basically just taking the putter over the ball striker here.
Right. The Henley's putter is just horrendous. I mean, it's me out there on the course, so it's like.
It's cost us a lot of money, quite frankly.
It really has. But I just want neutral. That's all I'm asking. I just want him to be. I would just, if you could pencil in 0.0 at the end of the tournament, I would do it right now. I would stamp it right now.
Yeah.
But
I would do that for like half the guys on my card. Yeah.
Right. but it doesn't always happen. I don't mind that. Harmon, he's a safe pick, and he obviously he likes it here, and of course sets up well for him to be able to keep up in the fairway while also just kind of using his iron play to get in there and make some putts. What do we got? Oh, we got margins next.
You're going back to the margins.
I got a different margin this week. I have one stroke and playoff winner. Playoff winner is 350. One stroke is 225. So we're going. If you hit the playoff, then you get 250. If you hit the one stroke, you get 125. We hit it last week, so we're trying to go 2 weeks in a row. I like the playoff added in there because this tournament is such a birdie fest with the guys that are in the field that there's going to be guys bunched up there at the top. We've seen it in the last few years with a lot of guys up there in the 20 to 21 to 22 to 23 range. I think this is honestly going to end in a playoff. So that's why I put it in there. I think this is a good margin bet. And if it's a close race, but not a playoff, we'll have the insurance for the one stroke. And we saw it hit last week. So I like that bet.
Yep. I don't mind it at all. You're the margin guy. I'm just going to default to you here. I am going to just stick with my guy, Trey Molinax,
the same
penny
guy.
stock. He still qualifies for the penny stock pick. 3-1 for a top 40 is pretty good odds. Basically just finishing the top half of the field.
What were the odds last week?
5-1 for a top 40. He finished fourth. What I liked was how he got it done. He gained like 5 strokes off the tee, and he gained on approach, and he gained putting. He did the exact things that you'll need to do here. He hits it super, super far. He is a bomber's bomber. And I think that you can do that here to a certain degree. 2.5 on approach, 5.5 putting last week. We talked about this last week, that there's going to be some Korn Ferry guys go on some nice runs here in the fall, particularly because the fields aren't that good and we just haven't seen them. So we're getting some pretty good odds. I'm just going to ride Trey Molinax. He's good. He's proven over the years that he has a lot of talent. He just hasn't always put it together. Back in 2017, he played here, got 20th. In 2016, he got 36th. He's played here 3 times, so that's a little extra experience. He's just super duper talented, and he seems to be putting it together, more so than he has in the past. So a top 40 at 3-1, I still like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I like it too. Another guy, I think there's some other like Hardy played. I don't think Hardy's playing this week, but he played.
No,
well.
I was gonna go down and pick on him this week, but he's not in the field. Some of these Korn Ferry guys have a hard time getting in the field for events once the big guys start showing up because there's only so many spots. But he didn't get in.
Jaeger is a past PGA guy, but he got 20th here in 2017. He's a guy too he's been in amazing form recently. So I think he's another name that could pop at little tournaments like this.
Yeah.
We'll see a bunch of them. We will see a bunch of them as of last week was not a fluke. Well, there's going to be a bunch of these guys playing on Saturdays and Sundays. And let's get into our favorite bets of the week.
Yeah, well, before we get there, one other guy, Taylor Pendress, is 100-1 this week. He was one of the best Korn Ferry guys last year. He's just really, really good. He's another guy that I would look at the next couple of weeks. He also hits it pretty far. So just keep an eye on him. Like you said, Jaeger is another guy. And we saw Moore. What was his first name? Cameron Young.
Oh, Cameron
Young finished second last week. He was a Korn Ferry grad. So these guys are going to make some noise this fall. There's a bunch of them. They're really, really good. These guys had to prove it over 2 years of points on the Korn Ferry Tour to get in the top 25. So these are some of the best guys who are not on the PGA Tour. So I think we're going to see a few of them make really nice plays here. But yeah, moving on to best bets. Hideki Matsuyama, top 20 for me, plus 155. I just think that his ball striking is so good that he can kind of make up for his poor putting. Bent's one of his not bad surfaces. He's closer to breaking even on strokes. He showed up at the Fortinet out in Napa and finished 6th, gained 4.5 on approach there, and he had a pretty good season last year. He won the Masters, obviously, second at the St. Jude. He's just an elite ball striker on a course that rewards elite ball strikers. If you go back and look at, some of the players who finished in the top 10 over the last couple of years, there was plenty of them who, just killed it from tee to green and just kind of broke even putting. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here with Hideki. And it's nice to see him already playing here in September.
Yeah, I love this bet. I was considering betting him outright to win.
Yep, I saw a lot of people on Twitter betting him to win.
Yeah, I think that he's, his Masters hangover has probably ended by now.
Yeah,
I think it's maybe time for him to start getting back in that groove. I was looking at, as you were talking to Thigala. He was another one. He was way up there playing, so he'll be playing in some of these events. He's been playing well too. So my best bet, Scott Piercy, a Las Vegas native, born and raised in Las Vegas. Number 1 in ball striking, last 36 for me, it's a crazy stat for Scott Piercy to be up there. Since 2012, he's gained on off the tee and approach at this course all but 2 times. And he's played a shit ton. So it's like a bunch of events besides 2 that he's gained every single time. Handful of good finishes at this course. This is just a course history play with comfortability, and I like the number at 3. I considered betting the 40s, but you know me, I hate betting top 40, so I didn't do it. But I think he'll be hovering in that 25 to 35, at the end of the cut range. After he makes the cut, he'll be towards the back. I like the 3-1 to at least just kind of pop in there for the top 30. He plays well in Vegas. Another guy was, did you see the PGA split stat about desert guys who play desert courses? So he put out like a model of only including courses that were like desert lined or desert based,
like PGA
right
West and like those type of courses, I guess.
And
TPC Scottsdale probably.
Zalatoris was number 1, and number 2 was Cam Davis.
I can't get the Cam Davis thing right. I love Cam Davis. He's like one of those guys that he just is oozing talent, and he got a win last year. Of course, we were not on him, and I just don't know what to do with him. Maybe he shows up, maybe he just bombs it all over this place.
He only gains on one surface, and it's bent. So I don't know. He's another name. Yeah, Cam Davis. So he's another name that's out there. Scott Piercy, top 30. Cam Davis, top 30 is actually at 250. I have it written down here. It's not going to be on my card, but it might be bet. So I like those picks for this week.
Piercy's played this 9 times. He has 6 top 30s. That's 66%. It's pretty good. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's played this course a billion times.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys do play, this course that live out there. It's a nice course. It's a good course. So and something Kevin about it. I mean, he's done well losing strokes putting here. So
yeah, it's like, I mean, Kevin not won, and he's a Vegas guy, so obviously he's
won twice.
Yeah, so it's Pat Perez also played well here, and he was a fit for the desert model. Also, he lives out there in Scottsdale. So there's something about these conditions. You and I actually took a trip out there. I didn't do very well out there, but it's fun time. I hope we can get out to Vegas soon. Yeah,
desert golf is its own type of golf. I played one of the worst rounds I've played in years, and then 2 of the better rounds I've played in years. There's not really if you can hit it straight in desert golf, you can really do some work. If you are offline, I hope you brought a lot of balls.
Yeah, I needed extra.
Grant and I are going to be back on here tomorrow night for the 3rd and final rendition of the NBA teams previews, over-under previews. We got our last 10 teams tomorrow night. Some interesting teams on there for sure. And then next week, we'll be back with golf and our last NBA futures show. It will be, a prop show, stuff like that. That will probably be on Tuesday, I would guess, because I think the season starts Thursday. So look out for that, and good luck on your bets this week.
Yeah, I love it. Excited for that basketball show. We're getting down there to the end, which is even because we'll have those random nights where I'm sweating out -5 from some bullcrap league pass game. I can't wait for that kind of stuff. The prop betting is so much fun, and we're gonna be
not betting on the Orlando Magic this year. I can't watch any more Magic games.
That's all right. I can talk you into one. Let's have a Cardinal win tonight, and let's win some bets this weekend on golf.
Let's see a Wainwright complete game. shutout. I'd like to see that. Send him have one more classic Wayno performance. I'll take it.
He can just retire after if he wants. That'd be actually kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
See ya.